There we go. I took care of it just as we were starting. It was a back itch. I had a back itch, and I got
Excellent.
the extendo thingamajig. I love that thing.
Oh, yeah, I love those.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Structure Gibberish, the Friday night stream. It has been 7 days since the last strong bad email. I'm your host, Brian, and that's your other host, Pat, over there on the other side of the thing there. And I keep thinking I should move my laptop to the other side. That when I look at my
Yeah,
laptop,
it
it
would
looks
be.
like I'm looking at you instead of being like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, what are you doing?
Yeah, whenever I look at you, this is what happens.
I just, you know,
This is me looking at
I guess the
Brian.
other thing I could do is just this might be easier than rearranging my entire desk because I could swap the videos on the screen, which would
Maybe
be really
maybe
easy to
one
do.
day. Maybe one day.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, I could literally do that right now. You just drag them around, and do the thing. Actually, I locked them, didn't I? Either way. Anywho,
Look for this on future episodes.
we got some topics today. I'm told.
It's topical.
It's April 8th, which is our favorite day to talk about April Fool's Day pranks.
Yep.
And last week we talked about how we didn't see very many. I'm sure a lot of people did them. I think they were all very tame, and so they didn't get a lot of press. I think every brand they still did their thing, but it was all kind of low
Right.
key and
It was very watered down. It was very, because once again, like we said, you can't really shock us with much
yeah.
anymore.
There's
Um,
the thing about the best April Fool's pranks were the ones that were like, we have created a thing that is fantastical, but yet also somehow plausible. You know, like in since last week I saw that Asus, the brand that makes the Republic of Gamers and the tough they're a computer company, Pet, and
right. I'm with you. I'm with
they
you. I follow along.
they put out a video for a product that I don't remember what it was called, but it was like some sort of like gaming contact lenses,
Oh.
and it made it look like the impression you get was like if you put these in, then you'll have a heads up display, kind of like Tony Stark in the Iron Man suit. You'll have a heads up display,
Uh-huh.
and so then like throughout the thing, you're seeing the guy like doing gestures like this to get it to like select things and do stuff because like so he's doing all this. At one point, he's sitting on a bench in the park going, and like this woman is sitting next to him, and she just like scoots over a little bit. Like this, they really leaned into like playing it straight the whole way through and talking about like you have to put it in this like charging jelly at the end of the day and stuff to clean it and charge it back up again and everything. But they completely leaned into like how ridiculous it would be to control something with eyeball gestures.
Right.
So anyway, I thought that was
That reminds me of a quick anecdote. Probably, well, you'll be able to tell me uh, from the technology. Um, I would say it was maybe like 10 years ago. Uh, my wife and I were at a party, and this guy was wearing Google
yeah.
glasses. And I mean the big honking goofy ass
Yep.
shit, Google glasses. And nobody was talking about it at all. He was wearing it in earnest, and
Please,
nobody,
please,
like,
someone.
I'm sure, I'm sure he, like, the whole night he was like itching for somebody to talk about it. And at one point, the conversation lulled, and my wife was like, "Oh, are those the new Google glasses?" And he's like, "Oh, you noticed." And it's like, yes, of course we fucking noticed. It's like a piece of Borg equipment on your face, you idiot. We're just being polite. Oh man, is this where are we,
Yeah,
are we looking
I just
here?
looked it up real
Yes,
quick.
smart
The
lens.
ROG Republic of Gamers smart lens.
That's
Like they really
pretty
did a good
awesome.
job. Like they treated it like it was an actual product and everything. He's
Hmm.
playing Elite Dangerous, which I enjoy. That's a game that I play a lot. And they Elite is a game that it like works really well in VR and with eyeball tracking, with eye tracking software. And so like they
Hmm.
use that a lot as examples for whenever there's like cool technology.
I mean, in all honesty, like, this is here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say that this technology is actually on the rise somewhere. you know, especially this. somewhere out there it's gonna
Uh,
happen
my favorite
like
my favorite
this.
part about it is that it's still got the like the RGB effects that are all over your computer and everything. It's like we built that into the smart lenses too, and the charging case. So like this looks like a real thing that they made and stuck a bunch of goop into.
Right. I mean, this is almost certainly real life, not just CGI renders here. They had a props department put this shit together.
All right, so anyway, that happened.
That's
So I got all
delightful.
these tabs open. You could see what we're going to be talking about today. Um, Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon, the two Jimmys. Pat, tell me what did they do?
A tale of two Jimmys. Now, first of all, for anybody who doesn't know, I'm actually probably talking to Brian here. Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon are two hosts of late night TV
Oh,
shows.
interesting.
They compete time slot wise. Jimmy Fallon hosts the coveted Tonight
Hmm.
Show, and Jimmy Kimmel hosts the aptly named Jimmy
The
Kimmel
Jimmy
Live.
Kimmel at Night show.
Um, right. And so over the years, they're both named Jimmy. They're both white guys. They're both from New York.
Hmm.
They get mistaken for each other a
Hmm.
lot. Um,
One of them is funny.
they
Yep.
right. One of them is funny. The other one was on Saturday Night Live. Um, they have
Hmm. They
things.
each got their thing.
Um, and so they, they've done a couple of these things where they come together. Like they did like a PSA video about how they're different, and then very hilariously, it turned out that they're so similar that they were both wearing the same underwear. They had pizza on them, and it was a very funny joke. But anyway, April Fool's Day comes, and each show opens with the wrong Jimmy. um, and it's great. And then, but this actually was fun for me to find out because of the late night hosts that are out there, my favorite is Stephen
Ah,
Colbert,
yes.
and he is the ratings winner. These guys are second and third fiddle to Stephen Colbert, and I think that's great because I love Colbert.
He's very good.
Um, he is very good. I will also say, I actually like Jimmy Kimmel a lot. I think he's very funny, and that's where that story ends. Um, but they did it. They played it very very well. They had a good time with it. One of the running gags on Jimmy Kimmel's show is that he dislikes Matt Damon. And so Jimmy Fallon announced his first guest as Matt Damon, but then in fact it was Justin Timberlake dressed like Matt Damon.
I cannot get this
It
thing to play.
was, you know what? It doesn't really matter. This is what it is. This is just us talking about it.
Let me
It's
see
fine.
if I can.
We don't want to watch audiences get
Hang on. I'm
pranked.
gonna.
We
I'm
we
gonna.
know what
I'm
it
disabling my home ad blocker real quick to see if this will fix it. Nope. What's
is.
going on with
Nope.
that? This site is dumb.
Yeah, CNN. It's terrible. Terrible.
Dumb.
But yeah, it was very fun, and I mean that's a pretty darn big prank to pull off on like the entire viewing
So was it
audience.
like a pre-recorded opening thing, or did they like hurry up and run back to their own studios
No, they
afterwards,
I
or did they
think
stay there?
I no, I think they both hosted each other's
Oh, okay.
shows. I'm fairly certain. Like it was like the whole night was hosted by each other.
I don't know if you could see this,
Um
but
watch
when I click, okay, now it's not doing it. When I click to try to jump forward, the playhead actually starts like sliding backwards.
that is interesting. That is oddly interesting.
Yeah. Okay, well you're done, Jimmy's. Jimmy's, you've ruined my browser.
You're dead to us, the Jimmies.
And give me the Jimmy's.
Gives me the
Oh, we
Jimmies.
both did a joke at the same time.
That's true. It's a good joke,
So, speaking of the joke,
which
yeah.
yeah may or may not lead us directly into our next topic.
Hmm. This thing happened. So I was,
Yeah.
it was like Saturday. It was the day after. It was April 2nd. And I was scrolling through YouTube. And this came up, and I was like, oh, there's one about parenting. I don't remember watching this one. But you know, like a lot of the older ones, I didn't watch a lot. Like I'm sorry, the older ones I watched a
Right.
lot, but some of the newest ones, like the
The
later
newest
ones,
ones were maybe just watched one or two
yeah. So I'm like,
times.
yeah, a lot of them I don't remember. Plus, it's been years and years and years. So I saw this, and the kids were sitting with me, and I'm like, hey, kids, there's a strong bed, and like half the strong beds are new to them because they haven't sat and watched them all. And so we watched it, and I was like, oh, that's funny, that's funny. And then like later that night, you were like, oh my God, there's a new strong bed, and I was like, oh yeah,
Right?
I watched it. I was
And it's
It is
so
actually
good.
really good. I get the feeling that
It is so on
I get the
point.
feeling that perhaps one of the brothers chaps is having a baby because
Right? Or has recently had a baby, perhaps. I don't know for
yeah,
sure,
because
but
the let's see if I could turn I was going to turn closed captioning on and see if it how it translates Coach Z here. Um the they did a diaper, what was it, like diaper something? They did a short a couple of weeks ago,
right.
and that was
That I didn't know about until I
yeah.
saw this.
But now there's this video, and it's about all given a bag of yogurt or custard or something to keep alive.
I believe it's
Yeah, it's pudding.
pudding.
That's what it is. To keep alive as if it were a baby. You know, that's the typical school thing that they make you do. Like, don't break this egg. Treat it like a baby. So they got it.
Carry around this bag of
Yeah,
flour,
or this robotic
yes,
baby that cries all the time. Um, yeah, so they got to keep this thing alive, and then it just goes through the ponders of Warrenting and various other.
right.
It's
It's very
it's
fun, especially because we're all of the age of parents now and
yeah, it's
whatnot.
like we're
So,
literally growing up with these people, like
yep,
and everything.
yep,
So the this this is so, like I said, I didn't realize this wasn't old. Like that's how on point this is.
right,
There's
right.
no like it feels like they're coming back, but it's just not the same kind of thing. Like I seriously thought that this was just an old one that I had missed. I didn't remember what the last number was.
Right, right. So yeah, I'm ecstatic that it the quality seems to be there. Every they don't sound funny. Stuff like that's always a possibility. Guys take 10 years off of. I don't think it was 10 years, 4 years I think since the last. I think I looked that up. But anyway, they take time off doing these characters. You don't know for sure that they're going to come back strong.
Or bad,
But they did,
strong or
like you
bad.
said. This is strong or bad. They just like you said, it sounds exactly like a vintage one,
Hmm.
as it were. Um, it's funny. It's got all the characters.
70s jokes.
All the hallmarks are there.
Hmm. Yep.
Um, it's funny in my house. My daughter really loves Strong Bad and the Cheat, but only because I do their voices. Like she hardly ever watches the shows, but her and I have like little like plays together where she's the cheat and I'm Strong Bad because she does a mean cheat impression, of
Hmm.
course. Every so often she'll try to bust out a Homestar, and that's pretty funny. So it's it's a wonderful thing. Homestar Runner slash Strong Bad.
Yep. Why does he have a clothespin on his chin?
Well, yeah, because see, he doesn't have a
Yeah,
nose, and
he's
he's gonna
changing the
change
diet.
the
Yeah,
diaper, of course.
he's doing it. I really liked this scene where she's telling him about how much she wants for the relationship, but she's doing it in a lovely tone to not
Uh huh.
to not provide negative vibes for the baby,
Yep.
which is a bowl of pudding,
Because
a bag of pudding.
I am sure that that has actually happened to all of us at one point or another, where you were saying things that you meant in a different tone, but you used the parent tone. So the little kid who didn't understand words yet didn't understand that you were really upset about
I don't know.
something.
When my kids were babies, we just set them up in front of Game of Thrones and let them watch that.
Right. Here you go, kids. The Red Wedding. Learn. Done. Parenting win.
So anyway, this part kind of got me because
Different more expensive
yeah, because
tablet.
that's literally how it is actually in our house, where it's like, hey kids, take your hand-me-down
Uh-huh.
tablets and go over there, and I'm gonna watch my iPad Pro over here. But I do
Right.
let them watch the iPad Pro before bed because that's the only one that has unlocked
That's
YouTube, and they're
nice.
allowed to watch whatever they want while I'm sitting there.
Yeah, that's how you got to do it.
So,
Dang old
dang old
YouTubes.
YouTube.
So, but
I love the dad
yeah,
vest.
I
They're both wearing
the
dad
Dan
vests.
Vest. Yep. I have never stopped doing my amazing and indistinguishable strong bad impression. It serves me nearly on the daily. Even if I'm just like, oh crap, just that is how I say oh crap almost every time, except for that one time just now when I was
A couple
explaining it.
years ago, someone on Twitter asked, like, what phrases that you use all the time did you get from Strong Bed or from Homestar? From this web series. And like the
Right.
immediately the first one that came to mind was "dag yo,"
Yeah. Oh yeah, I use
right?
Dagyo a
That's from
lot.
this.
I know. Oh, I
So yeah,
know.
but that's part of my
Uh,
vernacular.
sure. Well, I think it's funny because like my wife has picked up stuff and will say stuff, and she's not a fan, but she's not an avid watcher or anything. The only reason she's ever seen it is because of me. Um, and it's like this and Clerks the animated series quotes are just part of our lives, and I don't know that she's seen either of the references, but she uses them sometimes. So,
My kids have inherited my Homestar figurines from back in the day, and
I haven't given mine
the
up yet,
day
but
after we watched this, I did get hit with a surprise poop smith from the kids.
that's awesome. Oh, that's super
Yep,
awesome.
yep, yep.
So, the love of Homestar is passed on to the next generation. I do still think it's funny though that I still refer to this all as Homestar when really the only thing I love is Strong Bad. I mean, I don't not love Homestar, but really.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to watch 10 things from the Peasant's Quest trailer. You could stop.
Are you sure?
Fine, I'll just
Are
let
you
it play.
sure?
Um,
Secret sauce.
this is still the same video. I just remembered that that's not a thing that takes you to the next
Yes.
video. now, now
They
it's at the
got
thing
you.
that's at the next video. No, no, it's not.
No, stop it. Stop it.
Wait,
They
is it?
got you
Is
again.
now?
What are you?
Is it at the next video?
After this, dance on the playground. Waffles every Saturday.
My kids are really big into Teen Titans Go again. That phased out in my house and then
Yeah,
it phased back in.
that's how it goes with us too. It pops back up. We cycle through Teen
Now it's
Titans
over.
Go. Yeah. No. Yeah. Oh.
Oh boy. How many of these are there? I forget. Oh god, it goes on for a while.
I
That's
think
right.
this is it. Cuz
No, it
that
goes
okay,
on
so
for a while.
that's the guy from Gravity Falls. That do you guys watch Gravity
No,
Falls?
but I know what you're talking about. I know the thing.
So, well, he's the main. He's like the writer and the guy who's behind it all. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he also does the voices for several of the characters, but not anybody on Homestar. But Matt Chapman was on um,
Hmm.
Gravity Falls, and he was a writer and he was several characters in the first season or two. I can't remember. Maybe it was only 2 seasons. I don't know. Anyway, it's a great show. I love that show too. But I love that he was part of this.
Can I tell you a weird thing that I speaking of voice acting, I found
Yeah,
something really
always.
weird just today. I was um as you know, I've been modding Skyrim. I come back to this every week.
Hmm.
There's a lot of voice actors in Skyrim. A couple of them play like a lot of characters. Like as you walk around, there's like 4 or 5 distinctive voices that you just hear for like over and over. And then there's a couple of um, like one-offs, but there's one person, there's one voice I hear, and I'm like, I swear that person does voice acting for Star Trek Online too. Yeah, yeah, because
Okay.
it's like a really distinctive female voice. And so I went on IMDb and um, I went to the Star Trek Online page because I know the names of some characters, found a character that I know is voiced by this person, went to her page. Yes, she is the voice on Skyrim, but she, so in the list of names, or in the list of things she's been in, she was in Transformers, um, the Nemesis Project, episode 10.
Oh.
Now, okay, now hold on.
Oh, just a
A
single
single
episode.
episode playing
Okay.
Battle Unicorn, which is, if you may recall, Pat, a toy from Beast Machines that famously Big Bad Toy Store thought would be very popular and ordered like thousands of them, and then nobody bought them, and you could still get them like 20
Uh
years
huh.
later.
Uh huh. Right.
Um, and I was like, I have literally never heard of the Nemesis Project. I have no idea what this Transformers show is. So I start Googling,
Interesting.
and I can't, like, it's not on TF Wiki. There's nothing about this. So eventually I find it. It's some like indie production company's stop motion Transformers YouTube series using like Masterpiece toys. And it's at least
Oh.
I watched like half the first episode, and it at least I don't know if it gets better, but like the first episode is really rough. Like the person took photos of the toys in front of green screen and then poorly green screened out the background. So like sometimes there's holes in the figures where like if the toy
Oh,
was
yeah.
shiny, it would reflect the green, and it was the camera
Hmm.
was blurry and out of focus, so it's like just really bad looking. Okay, really bad. But
Sounds really bad.
somehow this person got actual voice actors in this series. Like the Rhinox is in the series, and his voice actor from Beast Wars plays him in this series. And
Really?
so, like,
That's
that's why it has an
interesting.
entry on IMDb because all of these actual voice actors voice characters in the series. And I, you know, I stumbled upon this today at lunchtime, and I was like, I don't
Hmm.
have the time to go completely down the rabbit hole on this thing, but I really want to because I want to know what happened. I want to know, like, there's at least 10 episodes. Did they get better? You know,
Uh-huh.
like this was clearly their first attempt. Like by the end, is it like really cool, and really well done? Like I really want to know, but I didn't have time to go through it.
Well, hold on there, buddy. Do you have any battle unicorns laying around?
Um, I think it's this bin down here, but it would take me a while to get to it.
I'm just saying, because I just thought, I was like, man, because I forgot that that existed until you talked about it. Their eBay has
Are there?
battle unicorn here for like $200.
You kidding me?
Did
Oops.
this? Did something happen here where it was one of those things that nobody
Oh,
wanted,
come
now
on.
everybody wants? That would be the coolest.
Battle Unicorn. Oh, in package.
Boom,
Oh,
right there.
wait. Out of.
This second one is a
Yeah, I
prototype.
was gonna
That's a
say that doesn't
that's
look like what it
allegedly
looks
a
like.
prototype. So,
Man.
but that's it. That's pretty much it from what I could find on
Hmm.
on the
I guess
bay.
after Big Bad sold out, it must have gotten really popular. I didn't watch the episode
Every
with Battle Unicorn.
just like us, or just like me now. I could have gotten it any time for all those years. Now I was like, you know what? I bet my kid would really like that. I'm gonna check that out. And it's like, nope, nope at all.
Okay. Oh, full movie.
Nope at all.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Here, just look at. So, like, there's some good, like, CGI, like, logo work going on.
I mean, good is subjective. It
Yeah.
was
I
okay. It
mean,
was okay. That
that
was
was bad,
bad.
yes.
I didn't like that. Um, this is,
This is kind of standard After Effects
middle.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah, middle ground. Middle ground.
That
Looks like the beginning to like a Hellboy
this is a
video game.
little rough.
It was
This
real
is
bad.
rough. Oh boy.
It's real bad.
This
Star Trek
this kind of
fonts.
feels like six people of
All not
various skill levels each picked a scene.
right. Right.
This is the full movie. The individual episode that I watched, oh my God, there's like, what is this? The single episode that I watched
I
did not have
never looked.
any of these like logos at the beginning. It just had this Mar Creation Studios logo. Is this just like a movie of everybody's logo? Is that what this is?
Right.
Who's
Right.
Sean Beckett? I don't know. That wasn't
I don't know.
terrible.
A producer, a producer on this
Oh my
shit.
God, is this just like everybody who worked on this thing?
Probably.
Okay, this is where it started for me. Was that. So
Okay.
that's not terrible.
That almost looks stolen.
Oh yeah, a little bit. There's
I already hate this. The actual picture of stuff in the background and the really poorly made road in the foreground. I hate this. I hate that we're watching this.
Yeah,
But
doesn't
keep it
like
going.
it's a really grainy. Like it's weird that there's like full motion
Ooh,
CGI
what
stuff going on in the background.
is it? Is it like from the '90s Spider-Man
That's
cartoon?
right. Like that's
Like
the aesthetic. Yeah.
looks like we're web slinging
Yeah.
there. Oh, I could see where you're talking with the giant
Yeah.
holes in places there shouldn't
Right. It's
be.
like they didn't focus like the stop motion animation is not terrible, but it's the
No,
like
no,
look at how blurry.
but it's also blurry as
Yeah.
shit, man.
The
What
like the
is
whole camera was out of focus the whole time. It's like they didn't review the footage. They took all these photos one at a time and never like reviewed it. Or they did
uh-huh.
that's just someone moving the you know. I mean,
Oh man.
like
This is the outback of
it it is.
of
And
Transformers shit.
I don't want to disparage it too much because like it's better than anything I would have
No,
thrown
no.
together.
I mean,
But
right. Here's yeah. Let's be honest here. But the only reason that it's getting disparaged is because why in heaven's name would actual voice actors sign up
yeah,
for this?
that's it
Like,
exactly.
is there a reason? Is there like is this maybe this person's like dying
Uh-uh.
and their like last wish was to make a
I'm
I don't know if
wondering
you want
if
to call it
like
memorable.
hold on, let me scoot ahead. I'm wondering if like each episode was done by a different person or something like that. Maybe that's why there were so many logos. Excuse me. Oh my God, what's happening? I don't
I
have
don't
the
know.
sound on, so.
This looks worse. This looks worse because now there's no uh there's no CGI
Hmm.
backgrounds. Oh, he didn't bother to move any of his legs or anything.
Toot.
What is it? This looks like the Rudolph special.
I know.
This little glowing
And
eye
it's not,
there.
the eye doesn't always stay in the right place. Why do they all just have
Right,
glowing?
right.
Like they don't have eyelids. Well, he doesn't have an eyelid, but I assume they're just talking. I'm going to jump ahead a
Yeah.
little bit here.
I feel like we've subjected ourselves and whatever potential viewers that may come
That Harry
across
Potter?
this in the future. Yeah, that was Harry Potter.
Hmm.
What is
Oh no, it's supposed
happening?
to be. It is probably Harry Potter, but it's supposed to be. Oh God, who is the Buster, the kid in the wheelchair from G1? Probably. Yeah. Anyway, like when I think about other like fan made Transformers stuff, like this isn't that bad. Like especially if this was made like way back in the day, like there was some really good, like really campy amateur Transformers stuff that I loved. But this is just like you said, this one's only weird because why are there so many big names attached to this? You know.
Right, right. Like if this was just some kid's, imagination working itself out in, their bedroom, this is astonishing. But somehow, some way, this is like a huge production that looks like it's some kid in his bedroom.
I'm gonna try. How do
So
you spell this guy's name? I think it's this. This guy does. Yeah, Richard Sargent does really good. Okay, maybe this is the wrong person. thought this. Yeah. Okay. Look at this guy's stop motion. This guy is
Yeah,
fantastic.
okay, I've seen this guy's stuff. You've shown me this guy's stuff in the past, and it's
Yeah,
amazing.
Masterpiece Reanimated is really good because he
Yeah.
matches it to the show. Like he matches it to cartoon scenes. Okay,
Hmm.
we just get past all that there. All right, we're getting there. And so just imagine like the actual audio from like the cartoon is playing in the background.
Right. Absolutely. You don't know. You didn't test it.
That's that old Starscream mold. Remember I showed the Thundercracker mold that looked so much better? That's the old one and it sucks. Sucks.
Sucks.
Love it. I love that it puts the cartoon special effects on top.
I also love the notion that and I mean it was just like in the cartoon, but like someone was like, "Yeah, I'm a tape deck, so I just fly like I'm
Yep.
Superman."
Same with Megatron.
but but right, but like Starscream's like, "I've got to be a jet now." My two giant robot buddies are just Supermaning it over here, but I'm a jet. Keep it low key.
Yeah. Starscream and the other jets would just like randomly transform to robot mode while flying to do stuff. Oh, and then he recreated the whole end credit scene. I love it.
Yeah, so good.
Hmm. Okay. Well, anyway, um, we got
Yeah. So now we have definitely seen examples of good and really bad stuff going on
yes.
here. What were we? What was our
Our
topic?
topic
What? How did
was
we get
strong bad.
here?
Um,
That's amazing.
we could move on to our next topic if you would like.
Sure. What was it? I don't even
The next
remember
topic
anymore.
was something about Rex Manning Day.
Oh yes, it's my favorite topic. Today, my dear friends, is Rex Manning Day. And that, to anyone in the know, means it's a great excuse to watch one of our favorite old movies, um, Empire Records. I did the math today to further depress myself. This movie came out, I believe, 27 years ago, 1995,
Hmm.
and and of course, easy math here, but that is like
27 years.
our parents talking about something that came out in the late 60s,
Hmm.
to us. And so I was trying to explain it to Marion, and then I was like, you know what, I'm not going to bother. You will never care about this movie, I'm sure, but I love it so much. And for those who aren't in the know, Brian, I'm talking to you. This movie is about a little record store. It's a one off, not quite a mom and pop, but this record store. It's run by this guy named Joe, and he has all these kids working for him. They are all um, they're all broken in different ways. Some much more obviously than others. And the whole idea of this day is they have this like old washed up pop idol showing up at the store for a signing, um while also there's all this other kind of crazy stuff going on. The one of the main characters, Lucas, finds out that the store is headed for being bought out by Music Town, which was the big conglomerate of this now defunct thing called a music store. People used to go to stores to purchase music, um, and it's just like a day in the life kind of a thing where they go through all these little interpersonal relationships and all these different people's problems and how they're all it's a feel good kind of a film. By the end, you're like, oh, they're all their own little family and blah 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 blah. And then of course, damn the man, save the empire. That's the big quote from the movie. You may have heard before. I don't know. I keep trying to scroll through again all
All
the
right, I'll
time,
scroll through for you.
all the time. Um, just doesn't really matter. But the point is that somehow, some way, somebody figured out that April 8th was the day that Rex Manning came to Empire Records, and so on April 8th every year, we the loyal fans of Empire Records celebrate Rex Manning Day. And you can just quote the movie all day long. That's fun. Another one of my favorites was what's with today, or say no more, mon
It
amour.
says that in the title of the article.
Yes, yes, because that was Rex Manning's song, was say no more, mon
Hmm.
amour. It's a wonderful film. If you've never seen it, you should give it at least a try one day. And if you have seen it, then you already
I
know.
saw it.
Don't
All
lie
right.
to us. And I mean, this is Liv Tyler,
Hmm.
Renee
Hmm.
Zellweger, you know, very, very cute ladies. Had major crushes on all the ladies in this movie. I think I had major crushes on at the time. Um, and it's great. It's wonderful. Um, then that's really all I have to say about it, I guess. So happy Rex Manning Day, everybody.
If you
We mustn't dwell.
if
Not
if you want
today.
a
Uh,
like a movie that is a perfect slice of the '90s, this is it.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is, if you're ever trying to explain to your children what the 90s was, this is the movie. Just put this on, they will soak
Hmm.
it up, and they will say,
Yeah, yeah.
"Oh, dad, that's kind
Glad I wasn't alive in the '90s.
of fun." But yeah, I there's not enough movies like this. The only other movie that I can akin to this is like Mallrats.
Yeah.
Mallrats is another one of those like perfect time capsules of the 90s, and if I were to watch both of these back to back, I might just turn into a teenager again. Just
Like it's
That's why I've never done it. I'm waiting.
like it's some sort of incantation.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. You have to play them at just the right speed backwards, and somehow you'll become a teenager again. But yeah, it's funny. I loved the way that, like, this is you know when you're a kid and you're trying to figure out how life is going to be. And of course, this came out in 95, so we were in 5th grade. So these were kids who were our elders. This was the next step in our lives. These kids had jobs, and life was starting to come down on them. They were graduating from high school and having to go to college and stuff like that. Um, and so I looked to this movie and was like, okay, this is the future. This is how it's going to be. And of course, alas, there was no fun record store. Or in my case, it would have been a great comic book store. When we owned the comic book store, I desperately wanted our comic book store to ultimately be this kind of a place where you could hire kind of the something just fell, where you could hire kind of the lonely kids, the kids who needed people to be around, like in a way we were that way when we were kids. We were lucky because we had a little group, you know that's not always that way. All the kids who weren't on all the sports teams sat slightly away from the other
Yes.
kids, and that's how we became
Yep.
besties.
The non-sports
S-
table.
the non-sports
Hmm.
table. um and that's just how it went. I always thought that was funny, the way our group, because when we were in grade school, for whatever reason, there were three lunch tables. One lunch table housed all of the
Hmm.
girls, regardless of their status or dislike of one another's. All of the girls sat at one table, and then most of the guys sat at the other table. And then was it five of
Yeah.
us? It was you, me,
Yep. Five
uh,
of us just. Yep.
Steve. Now Steve didn't have to sit with us. I always gave him kind of props because he was on the sports teams.
Yeah.
He could have easily sat
I
with the
mean,
other kids, but he sat with us.
some like I played basketball for 2 years, but I was not.
Yeah, you did. You did.
I didn't. I didn't like the other kids. That was the thing. You know, I
Right.
didn't. There wasn't like.
Uh,
Yeah, I didn't play basketball to get into the cool kids. It was like I played it because it was interesting and like, it was fun to do. But then after a while, I was just like, well, that was boring. I'm done with that. You know, like I got old after two
there
years.
you
Like I
go.
did baseball for 2 years, and it's like, yep, I'm done with that. Yeah,
Right. You try it out, and then who else? We had
yeah.
Joe,
Joe, and Zach.
Joe, Mike,
Yep.
and Zach. Although I don't know why, I don't remember. Like I know Mike was there, but I don't really remember him being there, and it might be a block.
It's like it's like the silence on Doctor Who, where it's like when you're looking at them, you can clearly see them, but like the instant you look away, you forget that they ever existed. It's kind of like that, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind
Yeah.
of like that. It is. Um, where did he sit?
What? At the table? What are you talking about?
We had seating. I'm trying to remember because it was like Steve, and then me, and
Hang on
then
a second.
across was
I gotta switch views so that I can address you directly here.
yeah. I'm trying to figure out where we all sat at the lunch tables when we were kids. Steve sat like closest to the wall, and I sat next to
Hmm.
him. And then across from me, I think directly across from me was you,
Okay.
right? And then was
Did we do the
Joe.
same? Were we in the same seats like
Figure
every day of every year?
pretty much, bro.
I don't
Pretty
I don't
much.
remember this.
Yeah. For a long time. It may not have been every day. Well, I mean, of course, there. It took a while for the weeding out of the kids to really happen. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? Uh, like, well, Vince. This is very interesting to all of our viewers because they know who all these people are. Um, Vince sat at the cool
That's
kids
true.
table for grade
Hmm.
school, but then once we got into high school, Vince was on
Right.
our side. It's like, damn the
Hmm.
man, save the empire. Um, and so it was always great to get a new one.
That is true. The crew definitely did grow after grade school.
Yeah, well, because I feel like it didn't matter as much anymore, which is interesting. I feel like it should have started mattering more at that point for our standings that we weren't into the sports and stuff like that. But nah, it didn't flow that way.
Do you want to talk
So
about the digital collector cards for a bit, and then we'll take our quick
that's a
break so I
great
can go refill
thing.
my
That's
water.
a great thing. Yeah.
Hmm.
So digital
Bring the
collector
thing back up for you.
cards. Have you heard about
I've heard
this?
of the
Have you seen
concept
this?
of
Do you know what
digital
these things are?
things. I've heard of digital. You get digital, you get that on computers, right?
So here's the thing. I am an avid um trading card collector from in the
Are these NFTs,
non-sports
Pat? Tell me
section,
right
as
now, are
we
these
just
NFTs?
discussed.
I swear to
Kind
God.
of,
If
kind
you're
of.
trying to sell me on NFTs
They're
again,
not on a they're
I'm
not on the
gonna
blockchain. No, no, I'm
play it.
not
You're up
trying to
there.
sell you on this. I think this is stupid. And just like I think NFTs are. Here's the thing. So I
Hmm.
loved trading cards when I
Hmm.
was a kid. Loved them. That's really how I gained all of my comic book knowledge. I didn't read
Yep.
that many comic books, but I had all the trading cards. Um,
You're gonna get the James Bond
and
villains and henchmen trading cards.
I am absolutely not. But we're gonna get to that in a second. So,
Is this like
um,
when you get? I'm gonna
so
keep interrupting you if that's all right with you.
thank
Is
you.
this
I
like
really
when
appreciate that.
you can play Magic the Gathering online, and it's like buy a pack of digital Magic cards and play?
Yes and no. It's a similar thing, except for I feel like that at least has a purpose. Like you're
Correct.
playing Magic. Like you can play a game with them. you can't play games with these. You can trade them, you can sell them, but like I don't know. I like I've they mean nothing to me. They mean
Hmm.
nothing because they are digital. I can't hold them in my hands. I can't put them in sleeves. I can't, read the backs of them. The fact you can, but they're all digital. It's just on your phone. So here's the thing. So I'm on a couple of different groups for trading cards, and I'm at that point where I've pretty much completed all the card collections I had when I was a kid. And I still really like trading cards. And so I was like, it would be really fun to get into whatever's going on now. Now, when we had the comic shop, now again, this is about 15 years ago now, or longer now, but whatever. Um, they brought back Marvel masterpiece cards, which were great because they took Marvel characters and they had artists depict them like beautiful like oil paintings of these characters. um that's how they
Hmm.
were back in the day when you they were works of art, you know what I mean. And it was very cool to see these characters that in general you saw in the the not that they weren't works of art, but in the standard comic book style brought into
Right,
like
right.
the fine art style. So it was very cool, especially back in the day.
What the,
All right, so yeah, you're
whoa.
getting on to yeah, you're getting on to
I,
what my problem is. Scroll
does it
down a
get
little bit
worse?
here,
Oh my
because
God, it
again,
gets worse.
we're
What? How
no,
many is
no,
in a case? Like a
but like
billion?
look at the Marvel cards here. Look at the Marvel cards here. $7 a pack.
What do
Again,
you get? Like
far and
six
away not
cards,
the
eight cards,
worst.
something like that?
But you get five digital cards
That's
per pack.
bull.
Five
Uh-huh.
digital cards per pack. You're paying more than $1 for a digital
Hmm.
trading card. Now, the thing is that I hear, and I'm not even 1,000% sure on how this works. There are ways for you to get
Yeah, I
physical
saw
trading cards
that.
from
Hold
this,
on.
but you have to like
And I'm
you
sent here
have
to
to
select
get
from your collection. Have them shipped directly to you at any time.
so like only um select things go through with this.
Oh,
Like only
it's like,
um cards that they deem worthy. Or I guess I know there's another thing where you can stack cards, where you can be like, "Oh man, I pulled 10 of that card. I'm going to trade all 10 of my cards in for a special version of that card that I can also take as a
okay.
physical
So it's
card."
I like that better than NFTs because NFTs is like,
Right, because you can at least build towards a
yeah.
physical something,
If they this is not NFTs.
but
I know that because if it was, they would definitely be plastering that all over the place, and I see no reference to NFTs anywhere.
right,
You know,
no, they're not on the blockchain or anything like that. So they're not a
they're
non-fungible token.
I
They're
mean
they're
they're
well, and again,
they're
like the
probably
thing that I
not
think is
fungible, but
interesting,
they're not non-fungible tokens. Well, no,
right?
actually, no, they probably are.
Um,
I mean, yeah, they would
right.
have to be.
They would have to be because
Yeah, you
they're
could.
not gonna they're not gonna go through all the work of
No, no,
putting it on the
you could
blockchain.
fudge all these.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
they're
get.
all funged.
So I mean,
They're all
especially if
funged.
it's like you get 10 of the
Um,
same card and you could upgrade or something like that, then it's totally
right,
fungible.
right. So like when I was first hearing about it, I remembered that Tops did something like this when Star Wars, when the first not what
Yeah,
can't
the
Force
seven
Awakens.
Star Wars.
When Force Awakens came out, they started with trading cards again. And they even went as far as to like basically re-release the entirety of all the 70s cards again, and then like integrated the new cards so they would match, so basically you could keep your collection growing. And I love trading cards. They were really cheap. You could buy like a box of them for 20 bucks, and then pretty much just it was a fun thing to do. Every time I went to Target, I picked up a pack. And in there they would have free online packs. Like each pack came with a card that um you could go in and redeem for a free digital pack. And so I was doing that a lot, but then I was like, this is dumb. Like, why do I care? You know what I mean? Like, what good are any of these cards to me that I'm getting these
Okay, hold on. I got
digital
to interrupt you here.
cards?
You see this? You see
Uh,
this thing that I have
yeah,
highlighted
please.
here? What is this?
Yeah,
What
yes.
splash
I don't
ticular?
know. Splash ticular card per box
What
on
is that?
average. Put together the 100 so okay, so this is part of what I'm saying. The base set of cards you can't redeem anything for. The 100 card base set is digital
But
only.
you still have to buy them one pack at a time.
Well, I mean, you could get the 8 boxes for
Okay, so there's
$874.
five in a pack, right?
Um,
And then there's 16
right, yeah.
packs in a
So that's the
box,
other
and then
thing that
there's
they've done.
eight. So that's
Yep.
640 cards for $874, $75.
Right. But again, like just the much simpler thing to note here is that you get 16 packs of 5 cards, which is only 80 cards. So even if you got all individual cards, you would not get a base set out of a box.
Right. Yeah.
So like this is the thing. The thing that kind of pisses me off about this whole thing is that they've made this hobby completely unobtainable to anybody who's not wealthy at this point,
Oh yeah,
or
yeah. The,
well
the
off
people who've made
enough.
all their
You know what
money
I mean?
stealing NFTs and
Like,
stuff, they can buy all these cards.
sure.
600.
But I mean, just to think about like being a kid, like again, this is how I became to love comic books and comic book characters and the mythos that I enjoy so much is because you could if you were lucky enough, which I would never was, but if you were lucky enough to be able to buy a box of cards. Now, I have in my adult life bought boxes of old Marvel cards. If you bought a box, you were guaranteed a full base set, guaranteed. And on top of it, you were guaranteed most, if not all, of the holograms, and then probably almost a whole second set. And yeah, while that went forward, you would get less and less guarantees. Like the Marvel cards that I bought when I was a kid, they were the Marvel Universe. They had 5 series. The first 3 series, or no, not even the third. The first 2 series, 100% you got the base set. If you bought a box, you got the
Okay,
base set for sure.
that makes sense.
Uh, Once it got to 3, you definitely got enough cards to make all the base sets, but it was truly random. And so, because I bought a case of 3, and it was weird how off it was. I was like, I had so many duplicates, and I was probably 40 cards off of having a complete base set, and I had to have at least like 150 duplicate cards. So it wasn't super hard for me to trade around and be like, "Hey, look,
I
are
was
you
trying to
finding
figure out what
things here? Is this what you're doing?"
splashticular was. It's just lenticular technology, but I don't know what I don't know why
Uh,
they call it splashticular. It sounds I don't know, a little
they're
handsy. I don't like it. Yeah.
a little too handsy, a little too on the nose. Um, they also do another thing. I don't think it's through these though anymore. Um, they do a thing now where they have taken old key books and chopped them up, and they will contain an actual hunk of an old comic book. And it's like we're talking like X-Men number 1s and Amazing Fantasy 15s and stuff like that, where you're just like, why are you chopping these books up? Stop it now. um but yeah, I don't know, like I said, the the draw was there. Like I was ready to go on these until I found out how damn much they were. Because I assumed, and that was my problem. You don't assume. I was like, they're digital. They're meaningless. They're oops, I deleted my entire
Hmm.
collection digital. They couldn't, they're probably like $1 a pack or something, and there's probably like 15 cards in a pack, and it's fun. Like that if it's cheap, I could see this being an entertaining way of
This,
spending some
this
time.
is like
You know,
if you are into digital trading cards, this is like, like this is fun and with a bonus of potentially being able to get some physical cards out of it. But if you are not
right?
into the, like if you're doing this to try to get physical cards out of it, you're going to be spending a ton of money and getting very little out of it.
Yeah, you have to spend so damn much money just
You have
to
to get 10 of, just to summarize, the base set. There's 100 cards in the base set. If you get 10 of the same card, then you can get a physical copy of that card mailed to you in the, oh god, what do they call it? The fractal parallel card, whatever that is.
right.
It's to receive an e-pack exclusive with the ability to have the physical card mailed to you. So,
And from what I understand, to further screw the customer, you have to purchase your cards individually. So let's say you have like 100 cards. That means they're mailing you 100 packages and you are paying 100
oh
processing
my god.
fees.
Well, this has
Yeah.
been depressing.
So yeah, it's just as far as I'm concerned, absolute garbage. I cannot fathom
I got the
why.
cyber.
And look, like they just get more and more expensive because these are
Yeah. You
old,
want to pay this much
you
for a
know.
case of Cloak and Dagger?
Right. No, but I don't even remember that that was a
Was
show.
that a Hulu
I
show?
never watched it. It it was I think it was a freeform show. There was a while where they were like sprinkling Marvel shows all over the place because they didn't know if they were going to work. And then it
it,
didn't.
it didn't.
So
I don't even know what Marvel Cyber is. It's got
I don't
do I know
know.
any of
It
these
looks
characters?
stupid.
I am so out of the loop. Who's
You know what though? That's Cyclops and Miss Marvel and
Oh, it's
Spider-Man and
like
Thor and Doctor Strange. But if they
it's
were
like
cyberpunks,
yeah. Yeah, I get it. Okay.
yeah, it's dumb. Yeah.
Okay. Well, does it does explain, yeah. Okay. So that's, I'm assuming this was like the Cyberpunk 2077 game came out and they were like, "Yay,
Right.
we're going to do a tie-in."
Right. Yeah, they tried.
Yep. The Defenders. Look, this looks like a team of lawyers. Look, you want to hire these guys to defend
It
you in court?
well, it
Look at,
it kind of
they'll defend
is.
you from the
It's a team of
prosecutor.
lawyer.
Anyway,
Oh man. Yeah, see they can't even give these away. These are only 750 a
that's
pack.
more expensive than the other Marvel ones, though. That's great. This is
I
all
know.
crazy. This is
I
insane.
know.
Thank you
It's-
for sharing this, Pat. I enjoyed our discussion. Um, we're going to take a quick, like 1 or 2 minute break so I can go refill my water, and then we'll be back to talk about NECA. Okay. Anyway, I assume we're still talking about NECA when we come back. No, the pre-order thing.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
sure, why not?
All right. Okay.
Pre-order.
BRB. All right, we're back. And Pat tells me that while I was getting a fill up of my drink, we had a new subscriber, Major Minor Manor. Thanks for subscribing. You're
Major
officially the
minor
first
manner.
subscriber to this channel since we've been doing the streams. We have some subscribers from before when we were just posting some stuff, but you're the first one. Congrats. And if you're still hanging out, feel free to comment in the chat. We want to try and interact with people who are here. So,
Yeah. If you get a hold of us somehow, I'll get you a structured gibberish
mhm.
tote bag.
And I don't know if you are who I think you are. I'm looking at that picture and I might know you. I don't know. But either way, maybe.
Do I know them?
Um, so yeah, so say
We'll
hi in
talk
the
after
chat
the show.
if you're still here and you're watching. I'm going to and Pat tells me that the video the chime actually played. I set up that overlay way long ago and we never I mean obviously no one's ever triggered it. I never suspected that anybody would, you know? So,
Right.
um yeah. So I grabbed a Reese cup, one of the mini ones from the kids. I've been eating the kids Halloween candy.
Nice.
I was getting
Your kids
God, they
still have
got so much.
Halloween candy?
They netted positive Halloween candy. Like if you compare the haul that they brought in to the amount of candy that we bought to give out,
Oh,
they
oh wow.
increased the amount of Halloween candy that so I've been
That's
every so often I'll
impressive.
grab one and every so often they'll grab one too. But they don't eat none of us eat a lot of candy here, so it's just a giant bucket of candy. But
Hmm.
anyway, I was feeling a little peckish and I wanted to grab a little thing. My I thought that my headphones like had stopped working on the right side um, about 10 minutes ago, but it turned out I just lost hearing in my right ear. This is the right side. Did I say right or left? Either way, it's this side. Um, so I seem to have lost hearing in my right ear. So hopefully that'll come back in a bit here. So let's. What are we talking about here, Pat? NECA pre-order. You had a rant or something you wanted to do, right?
NECA. NECA. Well, I don't
Whenever
know
you
about
bring
a
up
rant.
NECA, it's almost always a rant. So I just assumed.
I here's the thing. I adore
Uh-huh.
NECA's products. I just wish they had the ability to get them to me faster
Uh-huh.
and on time. And I mean, letting people know widely what the time frame is would also be nice, because here's what happened. So they came out, they have this amazing um Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie
True.
line of figures. It possibly the best looking action figures I've ever owned, and I own a
Mhm.
lot of action figures. Um and so I've got all four of the turtles, of course. I've got the April. I've got two Casey Jones. The only difference is one of them has an unmasked head, so I have two of those. I've got Shredder. I've got Splinter. I mad at myself in a way for not getting the Loot Crate exclusive Danny. Um, but also, I don't know. There was some, like, you had to buy a crate for like $150 or something just to get the Danny, and all in all, it didn't seem worth it. And I stand by that. I don't think it was worth it, but I still wish I
Danny is
had
the
a
kid from
Danny
the first
figure.
movie, right?
You know,
You know, it's from the second movie, right?
right? Kino's second,
Right. And then in
Danny's
the third
first.
movie, it was
Um, no, no, no. We don't talk about Bruno. But they they're just beautiful, beautiful figures. And I think it was last year they came out with Toka and Razor from Turtles 2. Again, amazing, beautiful looking figures. I did not get them at the time. My budget was tight, which is
I'm
not
switching over to
not
just
tight
you. I
now.
gotta plug in
But
my. I realize my laptop's been running on battery this whole time.
oh, fair enough. Um, so anyway, so they put out these figures. I missed out on them the first time. I ended up, especially after seeing a couple of them, people posting reviews and stuff. They're amazing. They're just beautiful. They're huge. They come with traditional pre-fight
Love it.
donuts. Like they have everything that you could want. Um, and I was really close to, because I have my the way I collect is I have a circle of collecting. I buy things. Most often I don't buy things just to flip. Every so often, if I see a good deal or if I have the extra, money when I'm buying something that I already want, I'll be like, "Oh, I know this is going to be good," and I'll buy something that I can flip. But for the most part, my flip stuff comes from I bought it and either I found something new that I think is better than that to replace it, or after a while I just realize it doesn't fill the space in my collection anymore. So I'm like, I don't need that one anymore. So I constantly have like a bucket of stuff to get rid of to buy more stuff is
A
what I'm
major
what
minor
I'm saying.
manner is in the chat says saw the subscriber overlay, said it was glorious. So I take that as a
Awesome.
job well done. I
Awesome.
didn't make it. Like I made all the graphics for this whole thing. Pat, well, okay. Pat drew the logo and like came up with the star background. Like Pat does a lot of the artwork. I animated all of the stuff. And but
Right.
the
They, I
yes we do. We
we work well
complement
together. I think it's
our each other's art styles very well.
yeah.
But I did not make the overlay. It's like an off-the-shelf Stream Elements thing because I didn't have time to figure out how to work Stream Elements, and that looked like the coolest one that kind of fit our theme. So I thought it was great.
So thanks for
Hmm.
being here.
Yeah, delayed.
Um
He said it happened a few minutes after he
anyway,
subscribed. Delay. It is a little bit delayed, and I don't know if that's the YouTube API or what that is, but I don't know. When I was
my video is very delayed. It's funny from my point of view while watching this. Um, I my video is at least 5 to 7 seconds off of what I'm saying. It's actually very distracting.
no, they hold
Speaking
on.
of
I'm talking
distracting,
in the chat now. I'm very
Ryan.
distracted now because I'm talking with the chat. So yes, the I thank you very much for the graphics. We worked on this for like 6 months from the like Pat did all the logos and stuff. Like I'll say I worked on my part for like 6 months. Pat did the
Yeah,
logos. I think kind of like like we didn't know what we were going to use them for. You were just like making logos and stuff.
right. We were putting. I like making up new logos for us. Although I don't think I'm making
This
another
one's
one. I
sweet. This
think
is like
this
a
one is
fourth
perfect.
logo, and it's
Um,
pretty sweet. I love this one because it's the
so
Transformers
this
Masters of the Universe.
right. It's perfectly befitting of
Yeah.
what we
So
like.
like the 6 months was not like constant work, but it was
Sure.
like it took me a really long time to do the opening animation because there would be like I did it in After Effects and
Hmm.
it was like I knew what I wanted to do and then it was like trying to figure out the effects and watching a bunch of tutorial videos and um you know
And I mean, it took us like 3 weeks just to
oh god
settle on that
I think it took
music,
more than
which is
3 weeks
awesome.
to
The
pick that
music
music.
is so
Um,
awesome.
Pat, is your beard CG? Is that a CG beard? Are
This
you
is totally
watching
CGI
the
beard.
chat or no? Do you have the chat up?
No, I
If
where's the chat at?
go to the actual I'll send you a link to our stream.
This is
For
how we
like
roll,
the
folks.
third
This is
time
how we
today, I'll
roll.
send you a link to our stream. You could just like open it up and then like just pause the video so it's not playing in the background and then you could just watch you could talk in the chat. Um or you could at least read what
Excellent.
the chat is saying. So yeah, it's a Pat's beard is all natural. Au naturel. Um but yeah, we the graphics and everything took us a while. It took us a long time to kind of plan this whole thing out because we didn't know exactly what we were going to do. We were actually talking before the show about changing up the uh yes, okay. So it is you from the Discord. Nice. Excellent.
Yes, yes.
Welcome to the show.
From the
We were
Discord.
talking about maybe changing up the format a little bit, like not forever, but just like we do the conversation thing. Maybe someday we do like a video game stream or something like that. Because Pat and I, we sometimes play like Star Trek Online or some other games. So um, you don't have to be sorry. It's cool that you're here. We like talking to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Um, yeah.
We love
Sorry
having
for
anybody here.
making it sound like I was disappointed that it was you. I kind of guessed from like the Wolfman icon on your YouTube that it was you, which is
Hmm.
great. So if you have
You know, Once I saw the
Hmm.
icon.
Hey, if I've never seen you use that handle though, which is why I wasn't entirely sure. But if you have anything you want us to plug on the show for you, we have an audience of just you, but you can plug it. We'll plug it for you.
It's just you
Yeah,
right now.
it's
It
gonna get big.
could be
It's gonna
somebody
get big.
later.
Um. Anyway, Pat, what were we talking about? NECA pre-orders.
NECA. So, um, I ordered. They put it back up for pre-order. They said, NECA does a very wonderful thing every so often and says, "Hey, we're going to put this item that's obviously something people really want up for pre-order for 2 weeks. So it's not like a scramble to order something. It's just like, hey, you got 2 weeks. If you want this thing, get on it." So I went ahead. I ordered mine, and then I don't know why it didn't really strike me because it is a pre-order, you know. But they'll send you updates with projected when your products are going to be in,
Where do you buy your NECOs from? I'm gonna
and
bring up some examples.
from the
Oh,
NECA store. NECA
NECA
store. If you, I think you
NECA.com.au.
go, I think it's
Yeah, it's
NECA
okay. It's
store.
the NECAstore.com. I'll to bring this up on the what you call it.
I don't know if anything is still up because I think they closed the
I was
pre-orders.
just
Oh,
gonna
they
bring
got
up
the turtle van, which
example. That's actually
look at that. That is a sweet turtle van, and it's only
oh,
250 bucks, which
I mean,
is much
for
cheaper than some of the other. There's
yeah.
another turtle van out there for this scale figure that's coming from Super 7, and I
Oh
want to say
God, Super
theirs is
Seven is
twice
so
that much,
expensive.
I think. Now that said though,
Super Eight.
Super 7s also comes with
What?
like a shit ton of accessories.
Super Seven.
Um and Super 7s is specifically based on the old
Should I get this
action
Megazord or
figure
no?
set.
I don't. I'm
Probably.
not
You should
collecting
probably get
any of
all the
these.
Megazords.
This line because they're super expensive. This is
Yep.
like what,
They
$60
are.
for this Megazord?
I think so, because the regular figures are at least 45, if not
Yeah, it's just
55 at
the.
this point.
I'm tempted by it because it's like the only one that kind of really matches the shape of the actual suit from the show.
I was gonna say when I saw that one, I was like,
Ooh,
ooh,
Violante.
that's a good one. Here's the other
Why did
thing,
that come here?
and it sucks. Super 7, you were gonna look at their
Turtle
turtle van if it was
Band. That's
available.
right.
I don't even know if it's up there anymore.
No, these things are just the
What
worst.
haves you? I do like the worst. See, again, they have great products. Their pricing is just a hair too high. Like it's just over the line for me where it's like I
Warranty
feel
LE.
poorly about buying their products. So there you go. Ultimates, the Ultimates
So you're
toys.
talking about this.
Now you want to go to the Ultimates.
Oh yeah, no, these
These
are
are the
the
three and three
reaction figures.
quarter
Hang on.
inch.
How did I get
Yeah.
here? I know how to spell turtle because oh god, I spelled it wrong as I'm saying it. Um, because
I know
I
spell
I
turtle.
just
There you
sing
go. Right
the
down there.
Partners in Crime
Party
song
wagon.
in my
Go
head
down.
while I'm typing it. Do you ever listen to Perry Grip? Does Marion listen to Perry Grip? You know that band?
I don't think so.
That's a band
What is
that
that?
does like kind of silly songs for kids. It's kind of like They Might Be Giants, but for kids. You could think of it like that.
All the time? Because They Might Be Giants do kids
Uh,
albums. I'm just
just
saying.
Google it later. But anyway, there's a song about
I
turtles,
will.
and the person is describing a tortoise. Like he's calling it a turtle, but then in the background
Uh-huh.
there's just this guy going, "That's a tortoise." Like the whole time he's like just trying to convince the singer that he's actually talking about a tortoise and not a turtle. It's I enjoy a
That's
lot of the
very
songs.
funny.
Anyway, this is just a figure. Very nice. Well, I'm
So
looking for the
I
van.
do want to, yeah, I do want to point out that they're very cool figures. They're just too expensive for what they are. And the other thing is that, like, here, scroll up for a second. Look at
Pretty
that
good.
Baxter Stockman. If you really look at that figure and you were to look at the Playmates figure that it was based on, and you just like quickly glanced, you probably couldn't even tell the difference between the two of them. And I actually think that that's kind of a problem because all they're doing is adding
It's the same
articulation
for the foot soldiers.
to it's like the same figure. They're not really adding anything to it other than some more articulation. Which is weird for me. I don't know
This
why
is new. This
because like it's funny
the
because
pizza
I
poker thing in his back, whatever you call the triangle knife. You know,
no, actually the
did it?
RAF
Did it really?
had
I
that
don't
little
remember that.
holster for it. Yep. I never used it for that. But I only
Hang on
realized it
now.
after I saw this and I was like, "Hey, pull it up. Pull it up."
Images.
Maybe vintage because there's a lot of Playmates RAF,
I would have to find one from the back though.
right?
Vintage back. There you go. You could. That's perfect.
There you go.
We found it.
Hey.
There it is. You could kind of almost see it there.
You can kind of see
Lovely.
that it's there. It's kind of
Um,
there.
Pat,
Um, if we need confirmation, I can pull out
question
my vintage
question
ones
for you from chat.
next week.
What's the
Yeah,
longest action figure
I've
YouTube
lost the chat
review
already.
you've ever watched?
I don't have a number for that. I don't know for sure. Hey, where did the attractive ladies
Wait,
come in
where's
here?
my safe
What's
search?
going
It's
on?
moderate. Moderate.
I, it's moderate, right?
If there's
It's
a Playboy
things are
in here too.
covered, but I don't
Yeah.
understand why they came up.
Oh, because I wrote
Um,
Playmates and it's like,
oh,
yeah.
play.
Uh-huh. Yep.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
That's fine.
Um,
This is for adults. This is an adult show.
I
Yeah.
oh, it's totally for adults. I have spent way too much time in my life watching action figure reviews, but I would say I don't know what the longest one I've ever watched was. How about you? I mean, you've
Oh
watched
yeah,
your fair share,
I
haven't
watch
you?
a ton of I mean most
Yours are probably worse because you watch
yep.
Transformers ones, and people have to sit there and transform it front and
Yes.
back and
It's
sideways and
a
whatever and
it's
all
a
the modes and
typical
everything.
sequence for pretty much every Transformers review. It's let's show the box or whatever, then let's show it in whatever mode it was in while it was in the box. Then let's transform it to whatever is the next thing. You know, if it's got more than one mode, we're going to go in sequence. Then let's compare it to other similar figures so you can get like size and how it looks next to everything else. And
Uh huh.
you know, that's pretty much how it goes. I would say,
And I would say your regular action figure, in lieu of the transformation, is more okay, the head has a ball
yeah,
joint swivel and these are
you got a
butterfly
universal joint
joints and
here, and
there's a total of 37. There's a hidden ab crunch under the suit that you can't really use, but it's there. And which is great actually because it does it does fulfill all of your questions. If you're like, hey, what is it like to hold this toy in your hand? All of
yeah,
that information is there. What I personally wish there was a little bit more of is how
yeah,
fun is it? Like when I start doing just toy reviews, I'm gonna be like, is this fun? Is it what's fun about it? Is it cool? Is there little details that I'm missing? Like those are
yeah.
the things that I want to see.
There's a couple of
Um,
reviewers that I watch who talk about hand feel, which is it's just like does this
okay,
thing like maybe this thing looks amazing like I still got this guy sitting on my desk here. It's like he looks
yeah.
amazing, but like, how does it feel to pick him up? Like, is he flimsy? Is he like, does he feel like he's too light?
Hmm.
You know, does he feel like he's going to fall apart as soon as you move something? Like this guy actually is really solid. You know, like you can play with him and do all sorts of cool stuff, and he's not going to fall apart for the most part. But like, there's other Transformers where it's like I've put him into a mode and I have to set him aside because if I touch him, like he's going to fall apart or things are going to shift or whatever. It's like you can't do anything with it. And they talk about the hand feel like this feels really hollow. It feels really cheap, or something like that. You know,
Hmm.
I would say He's asking like, is there like a Citizen Kane of action figure YouTube reviews? I don't.
Right. I don't
Yeah.
think so.
No,
Not
I
off
don't.
the top of my head. I don't have one that I could just pick up and say
No,
that was the
most of
longest.
mine
But I
that
though
that I,
the
that I watch are usually 10 to 20 minutes for a Transformers one.
right. The more full of oneself, the longer it is, the more they're trying to make a jokes or things like that. Because there are, I mean, just like in any of these things, there are people that are good talkers. They're easy going. They're like, oh man, this is why I like this toy, and this is why I bought it, and here's all the cool things that. Oh, see, look at
Where?
yeah, look at the
Which
belt
one?
right there. You can see just the belt. You can see the
Oh,
thing on
right
the
there. Yeah.
back. It's in like the
Huh.
middle of your screen.
I guess I never
There
noticed
you
that.
go.
I had this figure. I
See,
don't
it's
remember
like
that. This is a
I well, we
this is
all had that
a
figure.
Mandela effect. In my
There you
home
go. There
universe
you
that
go.
didn't exist, and the skulls look different, and the Eiffel Tower was different, Pat.
It's definitely,
And time
definitely.
moved fast. Time moved slower in the universe where I was a child. I went down the Mandela effect rabbit hole once, and it is crazy. Don't do it. Don't do it. Everything is just like I have gotten older and refuse to accept that, and I also can't understand the concept that things change over time. That summarizes like 90% of them. When I was a kid, this thing was copper, but now it's like blue. It's like, yeah, it does that over time. you know, well, when I was a kid, this thing was new, and now it's old. What
Right.
happened?
I saw a picture of the Statue of Liberty. Didn't look like that at all
Um,
originally. Well, I'm Jimmy Stewart,
Going back to the
apparently.
action figure reviews, there was one that I remember specifically that was very long, and I didn't make it to the end. It was a third-party Transformer review for an Optimus Prime figure, and I don't remember which figure it was. But the third-party unofficial Transformers can get like super duper complicated with like tons of tiny little folding panels and stuff. This was a Japanese reviewer who had gotten like a factory sample kind of thing, and this video was just going on forever, and he's just like flip this, flip that, and it was just this thing was so complex. It looked like a mass of plastic and metal, like it looked like it looked like a Michael Bay movie going on, where it's like I have no idea what's going on here, and there's so many tiny little moving parts, and this person is just doing this all from memory somehow. And I was just like, my God, this figure costs like $200. It's like, why would anybody, like your fingers would be bleeding by the end. That's the worst. I have Transformers where
Right.
it's like this
Right.
is not fun to transform. This is painful to transform, and I regret purchasing this thing. It should always be fun. Are there any action
That's
figure YouTube reviewers you refuse to watch, Pat? There's none that I refuse to watch. I don't think there's some that I prefer,
there's
but
none that I refuse. I will go on record as saying I feel like when you're I'm just gonna say I don't like Shartimus Prime and I don't love Pixel Dan. But I have reasons for it, and it's they're not, I'm not telling anybody not to watch them, of course. I feel like Pixel Dan is fake. And I'm and to not like fake news or like he just he always talks like this. I'm Pixel Dan, and this is the new toy I'm gonna review. Golly. And he's just it just grades him like just I think that the man is real, and I think
probably
that
a
you
real
could
human. Yeah,
potentially have a real conversation with him, but that's just not how he
you
presents himself online. And for me
you
personally,
want
it
people who are
drives me
authentic.
nuts.
The
um I like authentic people. I like people who are more personable. Like I said, he
Yeah,
sounds like a game show
exactly. Like
host, that's all.
the
And for me personally, it's just not
the
my
ones that
favorite
I
way
prefer
of
to watch are the ones who are just like that this person is just like, hey, I'm not here to be entertaining. I am here to give you the information you came to seek. I am going to show you this thing. I'm going
right.
to show it to you. I'm going to tell you what I like about it. I'm going to tell you what I don't like about it, and I'm going to try and give you enough information that you can also make your own opinion that may or may not be different than mine. Like I don't care if you come in
There
with
you go.
like super high energy or what, because I'm not generally even there to listen to you. I'm there to watch you like do the thing.
Right. And then I think Shartimus Prime actually really just comes from his
It is
name.
a
I'll be honest with you, like the name alone is enough for me to be like, I'm not gonna like. There have been a few times where it's like he's the only guy out there that had a review of the thing I'm looking for, and again, like he's got like a really long like art Chartimus Prime, like he's got his silly theme song, and you know I know we have a theme song, and I know that we have logos and everything, but I don't know. He just seems kind of full of himself. I don't know. I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't talk about this anymore. I just feel like that guy is not cool. He's not the kind of guy who I'd like to hang out with. And so if I feel like I would not enjoy like hanging out with you in real life, I don't want to watch
so
you on the internet.
the tradition is like Hot Rod becomes Rodimus Prime, right? So who was this guy
Right.
before he became Shartimus Prime? Yeah, I
Right.
don't know.
Was
Hot,
he a
hot
shark?
Shart.
I don't know. Hot shark.
Anyway, we got other
Okay.
topics, Pat. Are you done with this
Oh,
Mecha? Are you done talking
we
about Mecha? Or
do.
did we get
Yes.
completely
The, oh,
sidetracked?
oh, the last the point of the story here is that once I ordered them, I did order in this new thing. I got my email updating me of when I should expect it, and it's not until next year. And it's like, damn, like that is it's a really long time for a product that they already have done. Like I know they're ordering more, but it's like there's no tooling, there's no reboxing, there's no nothing. This is a product that you already have ready to go, and you're placing a second order for, but I gotta wait almost a whole year. That is a
They gotta
lot.
spin up those machines, those
And
factories.
if it was anything like the Turtles 4 pack, it's gonna get pushed back a lot too. And that's part of the thing, is that who
Yeah.
knows? Who really knows? The way things are, like maybe they're being very conservative because of that. Because it was like last time people ordered, that we told them to be ready in 6 months, and it took a year. So now maybe they're like, it could take a year, and then maybe it'll show up in 6 months. Who knows? Um, I guess the one thing I'm thankful for is I always hate when I have to order something like that and then pay for it whenever it decides to show
Oh
up.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that. If I'm gonna buy something like that, just let me buy it, and then it's a happy
Do you ever
surprise
have you
when it
ever had
shows
that
up.
thing with Target? You ever
Because
pre-order something from Target and they're like, "We're gonna charge you."
oh yeah,
Oh, it's delayed. We're refunding it. And now we're charging you, and it's delayed, and we're
yep,
refunding it. It's like every week. They'll do it weekly. It's so annoying.
yep. They did and then the worst thing is that if I use my card to its fullest extent, it's like, oh, we uncharged you, but then when we tried to charge you again, it wasn't there. It's like, give me a week, man. It's fine. And then it's like, no, it's not. Your order's canceled. It's like, you son of a bitch. You've been screwing with me for 6 months, and now it's just canceled, you
Cancel culture.
jerks. That happened. I can't remember which one that happened with. That happened with one of the Marvel Legends sets, but then it was like super plentiful. I was like, "Why, you bastards? You made me think it was gonna be hard to get," and then I was like, "No, it's literally everywhere. You can find you. I still think you
Yeah.
can pick it up right now." So, but yeah, the idea is more or less that I don't understand why these things are taking quite so long, especially when literally everything is done. Like I get behind if this was the first round, if they're like, "Hey, you know what? We gotta figure this stuff out yet," but this is literally just placing a reorder, and I'm flabbergasted that it's
Hmm.
going to take a year.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I'll be happy when I have them. It was just kind of like again, if they maybe they did, and I just was too excited, but I don't recall there being any kind of a time frame given when you ordered it, and so I just assumed probably a couple of months, because again, like if I reorder
Okay.
something, it comes. faster than the first time I
It's
ordered it.
like my Lightning Collection Tyrannosaurus Sentry. I ordered last February 2021. It was
Oof.
supposed to come in 3 months, and it's not here yet. And I think this week someone found it in a store in like Singapore or something like that.
Ooh,
So that
that gets me even more.
it's
We know,
coming, but
I went through all that with Walmart, but
yeah,
ooh, I hate
once
that.
they start finding it in weird places, then you know it's probably going to finally ship soon. But we'll get there.
Or maybe not. That's the other thing that is kind of upsetting. I don't think I've ever talked about it on the show or not, but there was supposed to be a line of Imaginext figures that were coming out, the giant ones, and they were doing He-Man and Skeletor and Beastman. And I was very excited because I really like Imaginext. I was actually hoping, obviously, that it was going to lead into them doing the
Hmm.
smaller versions as well. But for whatever reason, because then Mattel owns
Right.
Imaginext, Mattel owns He-Man, they do a lot of homage stuff in Imaginext to He-Man. It seemed like a natural fit. Um, but these things like never surfaced in America. And then like after like probably 6 or 8 months past when they were supposed to show up and be for sale, like all of a sudden people were finding them in the Philippines. And it's like I actually think that they didn't make that many of them, dumped the product in the Philippines so as not to be like, I don't know, America, here's like 50 of them, go to town. Um and I don't know that we're getting them at all now.
Crap.
So side note, because I completely forgot about this as being something I wanted to talk about. This won't take but a minute. Apparently, you guys remember PowerCon? You know
Yep.
PowerCon, the premier
Yes.
He-Man
Everybody
destination
knows that. It's world
convention, right?
famous.
Everybody knows all about it, except for now, PowerCon for some fucking stupid reason decided to branch out, and now they are not just He-Man. They're He-Man, Thundercats, Power Rangers, like Strawberry Shortcake, My Little Ponies, like
Everyone with
everything. They just
power.
decided to be like a a retro toy show. And so Mattel has pulled out. They are no longer doing exclusives. Like they did a ton of
But
really
they
cool
should have just
exclusives
done
last year. I even
retro
got one. I
Mattel
was so
lines.
excited.
Just
Um,
keep it to that.
they right. Well, they should have. Yeah, exactly, exactly. But so now Mattel like put out, I don't know. If, I don't think Mattel put it out, but like fans asked what was going on, and Mattel's finally said, yeah, like, we're not. There'll be no exclusive product. There, we might like put out like a PowerCon figure, but it's not going to actually be related to the show. It's not going to be something that you buy in conjunction with the tickets like it has for the last like 20
Mhm.
years or anything like that. And it really sucks. It really sucks. So I was looking for He-Man has been on such a good straightaway. you know, we've got all the Netflix shows that seem to be doing well, and the movie might be on track. Who's to say?
It cast some people.
But I mean, they're they cast He-Man. That's all they did, I think. But the fact is that there are at least three separate He-Man toy lines available on shelves at stores right now.
It,
That's
it
very
is. That's
impressive.
Transformers esque.
Right. So, which is their idea. The whole idea for this is they stopped and they said, "Listen, all these other brands that never had to go away, like Barbies, which is one of their own brands, Transformers, GI Joe to a degree because they did go away, but like the idea was just to keep putting something out. Like if it doesn't work, switch gears and do something else until you have some arbitrary anniversary that you can say, oh, it's 43 and a half years, put out all the old product again, and people will buy it up happily. Hooray! you know. So they said that their model is going to try to make it an evergreen kind of a line like Barbie, like Transformers where they can just keep pumping new stuff out. And I hope that's what they do because it's working for me. I enjoy it. Um, but I don't know. Like I said, the point I was getting at is that the fact that PowerCon is not going to have a Mattel presence and isn't going to even get exclusives
Yeah.
kind of sucks this year. I was looking forward to something fun on the horizon, and it was like
The
so.
Star Trek Mission
Anywho,
Chicago is this weekend, I believe. That's apparently now one of the
oh,
big
there you go.
Star Trek conventions is Mission Chicago, which I believe spun out of that one time that we were at Wizard World and it was basically a Star Trek convention.
Uh huh.
That
Uh huh.
basically,
Uh
I
huh.
think, essentially became Mission Chicago, and so like all the big stars are going to Chicago. I know like a lot of the
That's
developers from
cool.
Star Trek Online are in Chicago this weekend to talk about like the next expansion and stuff. So
Yeah.
we do have uh, some Picard news if you want to talk about that. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna
Let's
put
do
this up
that.
because
I am.
I'm just gonna play the trailer in the background because you can't hear the sound, and so it's not going to be great without the sound. But I'll stop it right before
Yeah.
the big reveal in case you haven't seen the
It's
trailer
certainly
and
not great
if you're a huge
without the
fan of the next
sound.
generation, watch this trailer. Yeah,
This
watch this
guy.
trailer and get hyped for the third season. Now I'm a little bit behind on the second season, but so far it's been pretty good. You know, Q's there.
I am super behind in that I haven't watched all of the first season yet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get there though.
This part of the trailer is interesting because he hears the old comm badge beep, and apparently he's got his old,
Yeah.
like, season four costume and comm badge in a suitcase somewhere, and the comm badge is going off, and he's like, what the heck is going on here?"
The heck.
So yeah.
This is actually kind of fun to
Oh wait,
watch it without the
well,
sound because you're just focusing on
he's in the season.
face. Well, oh yeah,
He was in the
he's
first season too.
he's there.
Okay,
He's there.
I'm not gonna reveal who else
Right.
is on the cast list. There's always some. No, I mean I just
Ever?
don't. This
We're
is
never gonna
spoiler free.
show.
This part because I
Oh,
if
okay.
you're gonna
We'll
watch
get
it,
to
go
spoilers.
and watch it and listen to the voiceover because that's the part
That's
that gets you.
true. That's true. Does does this pretty much conclude our spoiler our spoiler free portion of the show? Do we have anything
We
else
were
to
gonna.
talk about? Should we
Yeah,
just
I just wanted to mention that trailer existed and that if you love Star Trek and Next Generation, you should go watch that trailer.
I mean, I agree completely because I'll tell you what, when I was watching it, I
Mhm.
got very misty-eyed. I got very like,
Yep.
"Oh my
It's the
god."
same kind
So
of
yeah,
feeling that I got when they did the season two teaser with Q, and it was like,
right.
this is even better. It's they just keep building. I mean, what's gonna be next year? I don't even know. Maybe this is the last season.
I think this I thought they said this was the
I
last
don't.
season. I thought they said that this was um the that the new cast members were doing it because this was the last season. That's what I thought
That
I
makes
read in an
sense.
article.
This doesn't feel like the. This
So,
feels like the kind of thing that has like a. You know how like Worf went to Deep Space Nine when Next Generation ended. But then for every
right.
Next Generation movie, they had to come up with an excuse to bring Worf back. You
Right,
know,
Worf would
this
come back.
series feels like, well, Picard retired, but we got to come up with some reason for him to go on an adventure. And so like every season starts with like, oh, a thing is happening and only Picard can save us. So there were no salamanders in the spoiler chat, thankfully. But can I
Now
if you're
I
watching
should
Lower
say.
Decks,
Oh, go
Star
ahead.
Trek Lower Decks, which if you're not, you should be. That's a fantastic show.
Still
Everybody
haven't.
needs to watch that show.
I'm
If
gonna
you
get.
love Star Trek and comedy and cartoons, that show is hilarious. It is a love letter to Star Trek in a way that like other like cartoon versions of things, like the cartoon versions of Star Wars are like they're good with the lore, but their primary focus is telling the story. Lower Decks is like we're
Right.
here to celebrate Star Trek, and we are all Trekkies, and we're making fun of ourselves. You know, that's the kind of feeling you get when you're watching Lower Decks. So, and the reason I brought that up is because there are salamanders on lower decks at some point.
Oh, I see. Now I find this to be interesting. So I had to look it up to be sure. Patrick Stewart is only 81
Go on.
years old, but Picard is
Yes, and Patrick
96.
Stewart is English and Picard is French.
No, no, no. But what I'm saying is, I actually think that they're putting a little bit of age makeup on him
I,
in the
I,
show. I really do because I've seen him on like
hmm,
interviews, and this has been bothering me lately. I've seen him on interviews, and he looks a little better than he
I,
does when he's on
okay,
the show.
I guess maybe. I don't know. I mean, he does look very old on the show.
Like I don't think they're doing anything like crazy, but I feel like they're almost intentionally wearing him out. You know, because I was thinking about it. I was looking at that. You're looking at watching that trailer, and it's like, man, he looks so much older. You know, and then I pulled up like a picture of him from the uh in a recent interview, and it's like he looks much more vibrant than he
I mean,
does. And maybe that's just it. Maybe he's
I mean,
acting old.
he
Like
is definitely like old on the like you don't
well, yeah,
in
right.
the show.
He's I'm not saying he's young either, but I'm just saying like it's a 15-year gap and it's an important
Mhm.
15 years. You know what I mean? Like
I mean,
we like while I was watching that and I was like, no wonder they're ending the show. He's probably dying. And but then I looked it up. It's like
I
he's
mean,
only 81. Like he could totally be hanging out for
I
another
don't.
15 years
I
doing
doubt that he
stuff.
is actually dying. Although I would not be surprised if at 80, what was it 81, that he's just like, I think I'm going to retire from acting. You know.
Sure, if that's what he wants to do, but like it's just like I said, I actually thought he was in his
Mhm.
90s. And I think it's because I was watching him on Picard and I was like, "Man, this guy is really getting up
Yeah.
there." But then like I said, I've seen him on talk shows and he always seems so different and so more
Well, I mean,
lively. And I think it's because he is an 81-year-old
there's
playing a
without
96-year-old is
getting
all
into
I'm saying.
spoilers from the first season, the end of the first season, there might be
Uh,
a reason why he is acting a certain way. I won't get into it. Let's talk about Moon Knight.
okay, fair enough. Okay, spoiler alert,
Are you,
everybody.
are you
We're
gonna do
gonna
the
talk
spoiler
about
alert
Moon.
porn?
Sure.
It's not the spoiler alert horn. That's that's the all clear
I,
signal.
I don't. I'm a birdie too. Um. Yeah, that's enough. Spoiler. Spoiler. I don't know what we're gonna say. Spoiler.
William Shatner is 10 years older than Patrick Stewart, is what the chat is saying. Major minor manner. Yeah, and
That's
they didn't
also
give
true.
William Shatner a show,
That's
and they didn't give
also
Avery
true.
Brooks a show because both of those people kind of went a little bit crazy.
They should have.
But Janeway,
Avery
yeah,
Brooks.
that's
Oh, did
what I.
he go
Yeah,
crazy?
in real life,
Like
yeah,
in real life?
that's kind of what I heard. But
Oh
I don't
no.
not. I mean, not like William Shatner, but more like like he was at that wizard world that we were at, and he just seemed like he was way out of it. Like everybody else was engaged and doing stuff, and he just seemed like he was like in another room, you know. Um, but anyway, Janeway's on the new Prodigy show, Star Trek Prodigy. So they got Janeway back, and I'm cool with that.
Is she a cartoon? Is
Yeah,
Prodigy
Prodigy
a
is a
cartoon
Nickelodeon
one, or is
show,
that a
and
real life
Janeway
one?
is the like she's oh god, what did they call it? I've only watched the first episode. She's like a hologram built into the ship to help train the crew.
But is the
No,
show
it's
live
CGI.
action?
It looks it
Okay.
looks like the
Okay.
exact same CGI as the new He-Man show, the CGI one.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Which
Gotcha.
means I could
Gotcha.
do
Gotcha.
some funner stuff with aliens that it's harder to do with makeup. So anyway, Moon Knight.
There you
So
go.
this is we're going to talk about a little bit of plot. So if you haven't seen Moon Knight, or if you if you haven't seen it and you intend to watch it and don't want to be spoiled, feel free to drop off the stream, or if you're watching this later, pause and come back. We're not going to talk a lot about it because I want to go to bed soon. But yeah, Moon Knight. First two episodes are out. I dug it. Last week we Pat was trying to give me the spoiler free review because I hadn't watched it yet, um, and it was
Right.
good. I feel like this is one of the Marvel shows seem to be going on a really good and like yeah it's okay and then really good and yeah it's okay. This seems like one of the really good ones. Hopefully, um,
Right. I mean, to be
you did it again.
for my money, I honestly feel like the Marvel shows have been pretty much
Yeah.
all good. Like what where is your down point? Just so
Um,
I get a feel for you. Like where does the
Probably
ebb
the
and the
low
flow?
point is like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And like I said,
Yeah.
it's like it's
Okay.
really good, and then like yeah, it was okay. Like none of them are like bad. It's just like yeah,
Right.
it's like this was a normal show, and then there's like a really amazing show. Like you and I would get together like every week and be like, okay, let's talk about WandaVision. What are the theories? What's happening? Let's talk about Loki.
Hmm.
What's going on? Yeah,
Right. It was very engaging. And then when Falcon and Winter
yeah,
Soldier
that was
came
a
out, I
good
was like,
episode.
that was fun.
Done. Yeah,
I don't have
because
anything
there
to
was
say about it, but I can't wait until the Falcon and Winter Soldier movie picks
yeah,
up
right.
next week. And like, it wasn't episodic. It was very much a very
Yeah, and they were
standard
just kind of
Marvel
like
movie.
going about
Very
their business.
much
But this one, there's some mystery involved. Like if you
right,
know about Moon Knight from the comics,
right,
you know a little bit about what's the deal with his multiple personalities and stuff like that. But you never know where these Marvel shows are going to take it if they're going to follow the comics like directly or they're going to go away from it. But
right.
if you're not familiar with Moon Knight, I feel like this is a really great series that sets up like a really cool mystery, especially in the first episode. Um,
Hmm. And I did not know anything about Moon Knight. I was like, I've seen that character
yeah.
before, and he looks cool. That's where my knowledge ended. And so again, the first episode really blew me away. Not only like not to be follow the snobby trend of things here, but like I had heard that Oscar Isaac was approaching this in a very specific way, and that this was not so much of a superhero show as like a character study
Mhm.
of this person, and that really does
Yeah.
shine through. I feel like the notion, just the fact that when you're watching it, there's no question in my mind while watching it that they're two separate
Yes,
people
and
on the
during
screen.
the original trailer,
You
I
know?
thought his like Londoner accent was really silly because you're so used to him talking normal.
Uh huh.
It sounded
Right.
really silly. Everybody made fun of it, but like you get used to it very quickly in the show, and that just seems like very
Oh yeah.
natural, and he pulls it off really well.
Right. And because it he is a because it's not just the accent. Like he is a very Steven is a very neurotic and like nerdy, grating on you kind of a person. And that comes through with his accent, with his mannerisms, everything about him is this like we've all met this person.
Yeah.
You know, we all know this guy who like he's a nice guy and there's nothing wrong with him, but you don't want to have to hang out with
Hmm.
him. You'll say hello and then he'll talk to you for 20 minutes and you'll just be like, I gotta get to work.
Uh,
Okay, bud. Like it's just that kind of a person. And he portrays him so well. um but then again, like the second like he steps into Mark Spector, you're like, oh shit, this is Poe Dameron. This is
Apocalypse.
this is the
No,
character
let's
that
not
I
go there.
know. No, 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 please no. Although getting involved in
he,
uh
he just
ancient
he just
Egyptian
keeps
Marvel
getting taken over
characters,
by
he
ancient
has the
Egyptian
type, I
gods. It's
guess.
weird. Maybe they'll put him in the next Stargate movie if they ever get around to that.
There you go. Hey. Um but yeah, like I think that the effects on the show are cool. I like the effects. I love his
Mhm.
suit,
Both of them.
both of them. I I very much enjoy the actual white suited him that Steven comes up with. Um, do you have any idea who the voice of the god is? He
Khonshu?
sounds familiar to
No,
me.
I don't, but I'll look it up for you real quick. I do.
So
I.
it's one of those
It's
things I
it's a
always
really
mean
good
to,
voice.
but
Yeah.
he sounds very familiar. It's very
Moon
good. It's very good.
Knight. What I love about
It's kind of over the
what I
top,
love
but
about
I
this
like it.
show is that it's finally leaning into the comic book concept that every every god of mythology is actually real except for like the Jewish, Christian, Muslim god. Basically. Every other god of mythology is actually real and out there and doing stuff. It's like you get that in Thor. Obviously, it's like, oh, the Norse gods were actually
Mhm.
real. And then since then it's like, no, that we don't talk about gods anymore, but now it's like, yeah, also the Egyptian gods were real and they're still around and hanging out,
Right.
you know.
Yep. And I think we think that in Love and Thunder, the Greek
Oh yeah.
gods are going to be around. So they're pretty sure they're bringing in
Uh,
Zeus,
yeah, there we go.
which is going to be
So we
entertaining.
got Ethan Hawke, you know that
Yes, Ethan
guy.
Hawke, man.
F. Murray Abraham. It plays Khonshu.
That sounds
Yeah,
really familiar
he's a
too.
he's
Where
a famous longtime actor.
IMDb that shit. Who else? Why
He
do I
was
know
well,
him?
okay, well, he was in Star Trek Insurrection as the bad guy. Here, let me put the
Oh no.
thing up again. Did it switch? Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I know that guy. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Wait,
yeah. I
how do you
like
know?
that guy.
Where did you just look to see? Did you look at like
I
the show? Oh,
I
okay. I thought you
searched
were looking
F.
at my
Murray
screen, and I was like, how
Abraham
did you just
on,
pick that up?
on
Like it says Moon
Google.
Knight on the screen. I didn't know he was in Mythic Quest. I haven't watched that show. That's on Apple TV, I think. He was on
Nice.
Orville. Orville's a pretty good show. That's another one of those. That's
It
another
is
one
a
of those like
I
it's kind of like Galaxy Quest. It's like we're making fun of Star Trek, but in a very loving way.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
so loving. It's like I've only watched the first season, but I really enjoyed it. So, um,
Star Trek Insurrection as Ruafo. He he did not do a good
rough.
job in that movie. I'll just tell
Well, you know, here's the thing though. When I see an actor like that not do a good job, I can almost guarantee that it was the director who did
you.
not
Yeah.
do a good job because he has been good in so many other things that he has to have been
Well,
criminally
I guess
directed to
I
end up
guess
being
maybe it
that
was
way.
this a Jonathan Frakes movie or not? I don't remember. Yes, it was Jonathan Frakes. Riker was the director of that movie. But
So there
I
you
don't
go.
necessarily think it was bad acting. Like it may have been bad direction, but it was like he clearly went into the role and was just like, I have this idea that this is a like a sinister but somewhat goofy character, and he didn't know how to be sinister. Like I don't know, it's like he played it very strangely in a way that maybe you thought he was trying to be sinister, but actually came off as really goofy.
I haven't seen Insurrection in
98.
when did it come out? 98 years. No, I have not seen this movie in a very long time.
Else is on Moon Knight.
So
Anybody that I haven't come across yet? Wait a minute. Who is Michael Benjamin Hernandez as Mark Spector?
well, I don't know. He doesn't even have a
Isn't isn't Oscar
maybe
Isaac Mark
maybe he's in the
Spector?
suit.
Oh, maybe that is a suit
Right,
actor.
maybe
That
he's
could
in
be,
the suit. Maybe he's like the
yeah.
so that would
Yeah,
explain why he doesn't
because
have a
he's in the
picture.
suit. This is actually a picture of Moon
Because
Knight right there.
he's probably a
That's
stuntman. Right, right.
uh, I don't know any of these.
Uh, Crack
I don't know any of these
stuntman
people.
is guy in suit.
Um, oh yeah,
No.
Salieri and
Anywho,
Amadeus. F. Murray Abraham. I'm catching up on the chat.
yes. So, Um, so yeah, I mean, I think that I like that it's compelling. Again, we have a villain that is uh he's a villain because he's gone too
Yeah,
far, I guess, but
classic
he's a
Marvel.
villain mostly because he is uh opposing the hero. Like he has good
Right.
intentions.
It's
His intentions are to
except that
stop
he's got
harm,
like
and it's just a
it's
different.
almost the same evil plan as Thanos. It's like, look, all I'm gonna do is preemptively murder the bad people. All right. I'm I'm not gonna do anything to the good people. I just
But
wanna,
I mean, this is
and
the right.
it'll be a nice world and
This
everyone
is
will thank me.
the age old the age of, well, but the thing is also is that he's working for the or towards the other
Yeah.
god. I don't know if that he's necessarily working for the other god per se because he
Mhm.
doesn't know where she is, but he is endowed with her gifts of bringing forth
Yeah, I think they're gonna have to
jackals. I
reveal
don't
that
really
a little bit
understand it.
more because
They're
he has
gonna
a power to channel like her
right,
abilities, and then he's got the staff that has some of her power in it, which can make the jackals. I assume they're gonna dig into that a little bit more in the
probably so,
upcoming episodes, but
but
yeah,
um,
it is pretty interesting because he is like it is a typical like a means to an end kind of villain. You know, he's like, I'm working for a better world. If we had the power to just say like, we know who all the bad people are, let's just do away with them, you know,
right,
then why not? It's like if you have a baby is born and you're like, that baby's gonna be bad, you get rid of the baby. Like that's kind of the, and that's the thing that Steven brings up is like, you guys are all, you guys want to kill kids?
right, right,
That's you
right.
guys
Well, and I mean
baby murder?
that's the problem, I guess, is with such a mentality, is that where do you draw that line? Where do you say, okay, this is cool? Because I mean, again, like if you were to be able to say with absolute certainty that I was going to go crazy and hurt a bunch of people, you know, I would potentially want to be stopped.
Mhm.
You know what I
Right.
mean? But I guess that's the thing. But
You want
like
to have a
so like
philosophical debate right now?
how yeah, I think this is fun. Quickly because you want to go to
Yeah,
bed.
yeah.
But
I got soccer.
like how far back do you go? Because why wouldn't you like if you could tell that my offspring were
Oh yeah. Would
going to
we kill
be
Hitler's mother?
terrible. Right, exactly. Like if Hitler's mother's only crime was having Hitler,
Mhm.
is that a big enough crime to kill her?
What if what if you allowed Hitler to live up until the point that he's about to you know, the beer hall, you know, or
Well, but
like, you know, whatever.
that's
But
the thing.
like
Right, that's the thing.
do you snuff out a life before it can do all of the good things that it's going to do? Is the bad that it does, because he's got the scales, right? He's weighing the good versus the bad, and I think it's the
Right.
assumption that like everybody's going to do bad things, but if you're, it's only a problem if your bad outweighs your good,
Exactly,
right? So,
exactly. So like when but I mean, but that's the funny thing too is like he had the old lady. Like the old lady, what was she? She probably 70.
mhm.
She at max she had 30 years left of life
Yeah, it was
at
apparently going to be
all.
really bad.
And right, he something that she was going to do in the next 30 years was so bad that he killed
Yeah,
her.
that it would outweigh all of the good that she'd done in her entire life, and then
Right. And
that's
she
it.
seemed like a good person. Like he's like, I believe you when she's like
Why not?
pleading with him that well, she wasn't pleading because she's a zealot, but she was like, she was trying to plead her case a little bit. She's like, but I've done nothing wrong. I'm a good, and he's like, I believe you, but scale says you're gonna, so
Yeah.
bet.
What if what if you know, just the simple fact of him being like, look, um, I think the god's name was Amit. It was like,
Uh-huh.
hey, she can see the future, and on this date, you're going to do something really bad. You could be like, oh, well, I just won't do that. You know,
Right, right. And like, well, and I mean that comes into the whole notion of why wouldn't you try to save the person by stopping the thing that they're going to do, unless it's predestined, in which case everything would be predestined, so
But
why is killing them
you're
going to
already
do
changing the
anything?
future by just killing them then, right? Like,
Well, right, that's what I'm
yeah,
saying. Like, yeah, if you're able to change the future by killing this person, then couldn't you also just talk them out of doing this bad thing or stop them in some way?
yeah. Think
You
of it
know?
think of it like this. There's an order of operations problem that's potential here. What if you have someone who's like someone who's going to murder someone, right? And that's the
Uh,
thing that tips the scales, and you'd want to get rid of that person. But what if the person that they're going to murder also has tipped scales and should be eliminated? If you eliminate that person first, then the other person can no longer murder them, thus untipping their scales, right? So you got to be really careful here. You could end up offing someone for a thing that they physically cannot do in the future anymore. See, sometimes I think
right.
that these comic book writers don't think through all this stuff, Pat.
You know what? That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the time travelers,
Yeah.
all all of this stuff. They don't think about it. They don't put two and two
No.
together. And with that,
I could
perhaps we should
yeah.
wash our hands of this.
I agree. I think we should sign off and we should I'm gonna go and consider going back to writing my perfect time travel philosophically accurate movie, which is so pedantic that everyone will hate it.
I was gonna say the only way that it all works if it's really boring.
Yeah, it's
So,
exactly.
um,
It would be incredibly boring and just very procedural. And
hmm
you just
hmm
people would walk out and be like, "Well, that was a waste of my time." I'd be like,
right.
"Mission accomplished."
So I can't wait.
All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out in the chat with us.
Yeah.
Thanks for subscribing. You could go to the website, which I think is still jibcast.com, but we don't put anything up on that website anymore. Follow us both on Twitter. Pat's Green Lantern 999. I'm underscore bsokol. And Structured Jib is still the main Twitter. We're on Facebook. It's Structured Gibberish, I think. And then there's a Discord link that scrolls around on the screen all the time. I'm not going to read it out. It's a randomly generated nonsense. So, and yeah, thanks a lot. And we'll join you again next week for another Friday night stream. I'm hitting the button.
Have a good night.
I've hit the button.